Um, Y'all all know the mayor. I don't know how often y'all deal with Jessica, but she's the chief financial officer, the finance director for the city. And I guess having been a chief financial officer for many years myself, I'm going to make an announcement today I'm really proud of, and that is that our bond rating has increased from a A1 rating, which is on our franchise bonds right now, and we were just assigned a AA3 rating from Moody's Investor Services, and that's not easily achieved. Normally, when you get higher bond ratings, whether it's a AA or a AAA, people are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars through insurance, bond insurance, to get that kind of rating. This is a pure AA rating for us, and it's very significant for the city of Texarkana in my estimation. You know, and it's on this recent election that we had a very overwhelming majority vote, 78%, for these franchise fee bonds to do road improvements, which you are already aware of. But this is the rating that we were given, and it equally applies to all the bonds outstanding now. One of the things that they mention is, and I could have told you this 5 years ago, but you know that we have a very moderate and stable economy in the area, and back 5 years ago we talked about what was going to happen with rail transit, rail traffic on the interstate, and the like, and it was going to double, and it's already surpassing that. So the area is moderately growing, and our financial operations are very stable. Some of the things that were cited by Moody's, I'll give you all a copy of the report, and then there's no significant massive debt plans like many cities that are going bankrupt today. There's no plans like that by the city of Texarkana, Arkansas. They go into a very detailed credit discussion of Texarkana, Arkansas. I'll just hit, they talk about that our tax base has experienced a moderate 4% average annual growth over the past 5 years. That's pretty good in a down economy. Indicate that we, as city officials, it's just not administrative staff, it's the mayor and the board of directors that helped move forward with the development of Crossroads Business Park. And since many of you have been to some of the grand openings that we've had and so forth, you know what's going on out there, and that kind of growth in the AA rating, they're siding with the hotels that are going in, the restaurants are going in, there's hotels that are not named yet, as well as restaurants not named yet that are going to go in out there. And with the convention center and the water park, they felt that this was very significant to Texarkana, Arkansas. Stable financial operations, we've had adequate reserves. Generally, we haven't had to rely on property taxes per se in the general fund. It only constitutes about, what, 5%?
Property taxes, it's about a 11%.
11%? Mm-hmm. Well, that probably includes retirement stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah, for police and fire. But generally, for pure operations in the general government, it's about 5%. most of the rest of our revenues come through sales taxes, which is well over 50% of what we generate, and then 15%, 16% in franchise fees. I'm happy. They cite our management of debt with lack of significant borrowing, and again, in today's market, that's extremely important. I'll give you an example. I was listening to, I think it's over the weekend, there's a story, I don't know if it was in Lexington, Kentucky, or some Kentucky city, and they issued over $500 million in debt to just deal with storm drainage issues. And this goes back about 5 or 6 years ago. And but there was no significant way to pay it back. Investment bankers out of New York went ahead and did the deal just to get what? Fees. And the city is now in desperate straits. There was a lot of corruption going on there too, by the way, but you don't find that in Texarkana, Arkansas. So, I mean, I'm pleased with this bond rating. It's very significant for the city of Texarkana. There's things in here that say what might make it go down or up, but y'all can look at the report. Mary, you want to pass that around. Y'all can look at it as you want. I just cherry picked some of the things that I want to talk about in here. I guess on that note, I'll end what I have to say. And if you have any questions of the mayor or Jessica, feel free to talk with them.
I guess the main contributing factors to the increase in the AA rating is growth, and then also the road improvement bonds. Those are some of the things.
Well, you look at all sorts of financial things. You look at our financial condition, our reserves over time. We've been very conservative in managing what we do year to year. We just don't go out there and spend our way to prosperity. The only way you're going to get there really is by growth, natural growth, and certain things that you spur on economic development, such as things that will produce more sales tax. That's what we focused on. Certainly our lack of issuing massive amounts of debt. We hardly have debt compared to most cities in Arkansas. And yes, our roads need to be fixed, and the citizens had faith and voted overwhelmingly, 78%. Those kind of things are important, when you do that. In Arkansas, I'll give you a couple of factors. Sometimes I've been in several states, and in Arkansas, in terms of, say, general obligation bonds, no property can be assessed at more than 33% of its market value for tax purposes. And that's fixed. In Texas, for example, it's 100%, isn't it? We have about a 70% advantage in that regard. If someone wants to look at tax burden, 70% advantage just looking at property taxes alone to live on the Arkansas side than you would on the Texas side. Because each year, not only can they assess say you got a $100,000 home, you're going to be taxed on $100,000. And then each year in Texas generally, and I'm not just singling Texarkana, Texas out, it's Texas is a general rule. Each year, though, in each county, the assessments go up. and they keep forcing up the taxes on that property. Well, here, it's limited in Arkansas. You can't go, you can't assess property more than 33%. That's either commercial or realtor or real estate or private real estate. And there's also a constitutional limitation on millage rate. Well, for general fund purposes, we're limited to 5 mills. There is no limit in Texas. So that it says that we here in Texarkana, Arkansas, are far more conservative and prudent than most cities around the country.
How does Moody's credit rating work on what's kind of the scale or the, and then AAA, AA ratings?
Very few cities in the country have AAA ratings. Mostly you'll find states have AAA ratings. Ratings are based on the kind of bonds you issue. For example, if we're issuing utility debt, that's called a revenue bond. And with revenue bonds, you charge user rates for using the services. So you're more flexible to increase those things. Generally, in state government, you don't face that kind of thing. The other kind of bonded debt you do is typically called general obligation bonded debt. The state issues a lot of general obligation bonded debt, and they naturally have a higher credit rating than most cities throughout the country. Now, you know, some states are on the verge of bankruptcy in America. You won't find Arkansas on that list, or Texas for that matter. And we have good economic growth going on and in the country. We have reasonable pension systems in Arkansas. They look at that. They look at our fund balances. They just look at balance sheets, apply various ratios and analysis, and essentially they, you know, they make you take off your clothes. That's what they do.
When will y'all get the money in hand from this bond sale?
Next week, I believe.
Oh, for the bond, I thought,
No.
we don't sign it in September.
Should be the end of September, beginning of
Oh,
October.
okay.
Yeah, this,
Well, what we're doing is putting it out for
Right,
sale
do the bond
this
offering.
today or tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
we tentatively have September 25th is our tentative closing date.
Okay.
From the mayor and board of directors perspective, we're certainly pleased of the rating, and we, you know, directly attributed, I know our financial director is certainly somewhat responsible for it, because she's responsible for making sure that we do have a good fund balance and that we have a sound budget to look at and propose, but also our city manager, who is responsible for overseeing the entire operation of the city. So, you know, it's a dual sword that we are certainly fortunate in Texarkana to have what I consider an outstanding city manager, an outstanding finance director that are both of them very competent, understand the importance of maintaining a fund balance, maintaining that we want to spend within our limit, and we do not go out here and expend or allocate funds that are not a responsibility of a government entity. And that's where our first priority is at. Everything else comes second. With that, I think it's this is a perfect example when you have a excellent city manager and excellent finance director. We get this rating, and it benefits, not only does it benefit the city, but it also ultimately benefits the citizens of Texarkana, Arkansas. And so I congratulate Harold and Jessica in an outstanding job. And on behalf of the board of directors, we appreciate the job that you're doing. and appreciate the recognition that you have, your job has demonstrated in this rating assignment by Moody's. So appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor. We appreciate that. It's difficult being Chief Financial Officer for a number of years to, you know, keep your hands off the finance department, but you have to do that. And I think over the years, they put together a very good cohesive group upstairs, and I'm proud of them.